Well, first things first. I'd like to say happy 1-year anniversary to my channel, and over the past year, I'd like to say that we have done a pretty decent job so far. You badass fans that I've gained over the past year are fucking great, and I genuinely hope to see the number grow even more this next year. Despite the fact that I do this channel for my own personal fulfillment rather than to gain fame, some of my videos have gained a fair amount of views so far, for better or worse. So far, my most popular video has been my infamous Hallowed Be Thy Plagiarism rant, where I controversially called out one of my favorite heavy metal bands, Iron Maiden, in quite a few instances of plagiarism. Believe it or not, I even actually forgot to mention a few other instances, such as the riff for The Wicker Man is basically Judas Priest running wild from their Killing Machine album. However, it hasn't been all sunshine and roses, and as expected, I've received much backlash on the video in question. Even though I played the damn songs so you, the viewers, could hear the similarities between them, and still the fanboy cunts refused to believe in fucking reality. And then in March, the court verdict broke, and Iron Maiden got away scot-fucking-free. For all of 5 seconds, before former Iron Maiden frontman Dennis Wilcock began another lawsuit against Iron Maiden for not crediting him in songs he may have wrote. As our Lord and Savior Razorfist once said, a video's quality is determined by the amount of hate it gets in the comments section. And judging by the hate the first video got, I'll call that one a success. Let's see how successful I am this time. Rant? Oh, I hope you brought your ponchos because it's about to get all Lindsey Graham in here, and the first 3 rows may get drenched. Fucking Rant.
Will you speak the truth? Liberate me from the news. I've been tied down for so long. Take us to a new stage. Turn another page where we're not suspected anymore. Will you speak the truth? Will you speak the truth? Will you speak?
First off, the Beckett vs. Iron Maiden case, or more commonly known as the Brian Quinn vs. Iron Maiden case. The case centered around the Beckett song Life Shadow, from which 2 verses of the lyrics are said to have been used in the universally acclaimed Iron Maiden epic by the name of Hallowed Be Thy Name, as well as a passage of instrumental music used in The Nomad, a track from Iron Maiden's supposed masterpiece album, Brave New World. Once again, for posterity, let's compare the songs in question.
Mark my words, my soul inside. Please don't worry, 'cause I've got. I've gone beyond to see the truth.
So the case was expected to go to the High Court this year with the 4 defendants, Iron Maiden's Steve Harris and Dave Murray, along with Beckett's Robert Barton and publishing company Imagine London Ltd, being sued for unspecified damages over £200,000 for alleged copyright breaches. Then in court, we have Steve Harris's lame-ass arguments that seem to change at the drop of a hat. Oh, we were just referencing Life Shadow. Oh, I used lyrics from Life Shadow as a guide and forgot to change them before I was recording. Martin Birch and Rod Smallwood and Andy Snape all told me they didn't have time to rewrite the lyrics because the recording of the album was rushed. Oh, I thought I didn't need permission to use the lyrics from Life Shadow when I wrote the song in question. And apparently, in paragraph 16 of their statement, it is stated that the Number of the Beast album was written by Steve Harris only under significant time pressures in January and February of 1982. Now, apparently this is incorrect because Harris did not write that entire album in that 2-month period. Far from it. Live recordings of Hallowed Be Thy Name and The Prisoner performed in, I believe, 1981, the previous year. Invaders is a rehash of an old Iron Maiden song called Invasion.
You better get ready for a hell of a fight. The numbers come in. I'm looking like giants.
22 Acacia Avenue was actually an Urchin song written by Adrian Smith called Countdown.
Countdown, get ready. If you're feeling down, depressed and lonely, I know a place where we can go. 22 Acacia Avenue.
Run to the Hills was performed a few times towards the end of the Killers World Tour, again in 1981, and according to Bruce Dickinson, he made significant contributions to the songwriting of the album, but was unable to be credited for contractual reasons. And then you have the lame-ass excuse for the note-for-note plagiarism of the instrumental bit in the Nomad. They say it's simply a coincidence. Yeah, okay, considering Iron Maiden is a major Beckett fan, own their self-titled album on vinyl, went to every show they ever performed in the London area in the 70s. Yeah, such a believable argument there, fanboy. Then you have these YouTube comment justice warriors that are always quick to come up with the lamest excuse outside of Steve Harris's own arguments. You're a fucking idiot and you need to do research on copyright laws. Yeah, luckily seeing how my job here on this channel is to do extensive research on topics before I switch on the camera and open my Yap, I have indeed done research on copyright laws. Otherwise, this video may have likely been a defense on Iron Maiden. But yeah, let's go along with your argument, shall we? This ought to be good. The literal definition of music plagiarism is as follows. Music plagiarism is the use or close imitation of another author's music while representing it as one's original work. Plagiarism in music now occurs in 2 contexts, with a musical idea such as a melody, motif, or lyrics, or sampling, taking a portion of one sound recording and reusing it in a different song. For example, Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby sampling Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it.
Look how well that worked out.
You think I got that kind of money?
Of course you got that kind of money. Royalties from Ice Ice Baby, you must be fucking loaded.
Man, listen, Queen took 50%. Suge took the other 60%. I fucking owe money when that shit gets played, man.
So let's look at the songwriters on Hallowed Be Thy Name, shall we? This ought to be fun. Harris, huh? Interesting. Huh. Solely Steve Harris. And nobody else, huh? Let's look at those lyric similarities again, shall we? Next, I don't know how it is over the pond in England, but according to US copyright law, in the absence of a confession, musicians who accuse others of stealing their work must provide access, meaning the alleged plagiarizer must have heard the song, and similarity, the songs must share unique musical components. Well, seeing how Steve Harris has admitted to not only owning Beckett's album on vinyl, but went on to see them in concert whenever they were in the London area, as well as Iron Maiden covering another one of their songs for a B-side to 2 Minutes to Midnight, I'd say that's proof enough. Now you're claiming that allegations are facts. None of this was proven in court. The two people that attempted to sue Iron Maiden did not win.
It's hilarious.
Look, in this day and age where everything is fucking fake news, I don't believe a solitary word of anything unless I see undeniable proof. In which this case, I have you, cuck. And you go even further to say that the lines were paraphrased when it's fairly clear that besides, one or two words, the lines are word for word plagiarized. So how about this? I just wrote a song. Cue the music. There's a lady who's shown all that glitters is gold, and she's buying this escalator to heaven. Yeah, I'm sure that'll fly with Led Zeppelin there, sugar tits. How about you take your fanboyism and your poor fucking arguments and shove them back up the ass you pulled them out of? Aren't you soy boys late for your nightly poetry slam?
Where was the crossing guard when I was crossing Lover's Lane? Where was the guard when I got mowed down by a sedan named Woman? You should have honked your horn, woman! I didn't see you coming, woman! Bam!
Using your logic that the people who sued Iron Maiden didn't win, okay, and the prosecutors for the O.J. Simpson murder trials didn't win either, yet ask anyone on the street whether or not they believe O.J. did murder Nicole Brown and Ron Coleman and see what they all say. And oh yeah, the prosecutors of the Michael Jackson allegations didn't win either yet. Go ask everyone you see and just how many of them actually believe MJ diddled the kids. Unfortunately, my father is one of them. Steve Harris won the case because he's a world-famous, successful musician, and on top of that, he's a millionaire. Brian Quinn is living in a trailer home. Ever hear the expression, money talks? Look, with Robert Barton, he paid money under the table, and that was the end of that. With Brian Quinn, I believe they settled for £100,000 or something. Look, plain and simple, I don't care how good of a lawyer Steve Harris may have had, there's no way a jury that hasn't been either paid off or have a blunderbuss pointed at their yoo-hoos would see the facts that were presented by Barry McKay and still rule in Iron Maiden's favor. Now look, Barry McKay is no Barry Sheck as far as lawyers go. Actually, apparently Barry McKay isn't even a lawyer at all. He is, and I quote, only an experienced ex-band manager, ex-promoter, music publisher, industry consultant with a track record of helping artists who have been mistreated or ripped off. And it is this fact that I believe he's probably the reason that Brian Quinn didn't win and why Dennis Wilcock may not win either. Look, McKay may be helpful in the prosecution in some areas, but being put in charge of the prosecution seems to be harmful to their case. Look, McKay, you seem a little too emotionally involved with this case, and as we've seen in O.J. Simpson's murder trial, emotion doesn't win you the trial. Barry McKay seemingly has all the facts he needs for a win, but he's too emotionally compromised. No judge or jury will rule in his favor. Barry McKay needs to suck up and hire a lawyer who will use the evidence he has to actually win these cases. And with that, we're going to move on to the current case between Dennis Wilcock and Iron Maiden. So for those who are not familiar with Iron Maiden's band history, Dennis Wilcock was Iron Maiden's second vocalist, immediately before the great Paul Di'Anno. As far as you'll read on Wikipedia or hear on any documentaries, they even go 1,000 miles out of their way to even mention the dude's name. Dennis Wilcock was basically the cockhead vocalist who tried to take the band over from Steve, had Dave Murray fired at one point, and then all of a sudden up and left to form his own band V1.
Dennis was kind of a, very forthright character.
Great big blonde barnet, and he used to swing the mic, and he had he had all the front. He really did, but he wasn't a great singer, but he could manipulate everybody.
He came to us with a reputation that every band he's ever been in, he's always broken it up. And Maiden was no exception, and he broke it all up.
I got ejected on Dennis's orders. He chucked me out because I was too flash, and he also chucked Dave Murray out because he didn't like Dave's girlfriend or something like that.
There was some problem with Davey at the time, and Dennis just said, "Oh, we should just get rid of him." And I was like, "Oh no, we can't. He's so good." And it was like, he's got to go in, otherwise I'm off. And I thought, "Oh no, I can't go through trying to look for another singer and all this." Stupidly, I gave in.
He eventually managed to sack everybody, including me, Bob Sawyer, Dave Murray. We was all sacked.
Now apparently they're adding onto the shit on Dennis Wilcock dogpile. Now, the band states that while he was frontman of Maiden, Dennis Wilcock was notorious for forgetting lyrics for the band's songs, or missing out words, or singing the wrong words. He, ... even had to sing from lyric sheets at live performances. Accordingly, it is implausible that Mr. Wilcock can now remember the lyrics he allegedly wrote some 40 years ago. My problem with this statement is that if you read up on Iron Maiden's band history, and especially his history on Dennis Wilcock, he had a feud with Dave Murray that when it came down to choosing between kicking out Wilcock or Dave Murray, Steve Harris kicked out Dave Murray. Now, if your vocalist is forgetting lyrics, I don't care how great of a singer he may or may not have been, logically, I would choose to kick out the vocalist that's forgetting lyrics rather than the fucking guitar god that is Dave Murray. Whatever my personal feelings of Dennis Wilcock have been, I usually refer to him as Dennis Wilcockhead or Dennis Cockhead due to him kicking Dave Murray out of the band. But at this point, it's seeming more and more plausible that his case may hold water, and that the history behind Dennis Wilcock may not all be that truthful. See, Maiden, I don't know, it seems a little fishy. Maiden seem to have this tendency to shit-talk about any ex-band members that have left the band on bad terms. Take Bruce Dickinson, for example. When Bruce up and left in the 90s, the band made no effort to hide their hatred for Bruce. Yannick Gers said it himself while commenting on the X Factor, and I quote, word for word, "When Bruce quit, I hated him. I couldn't believe it. It felt like we'd been left high and dry, and we had to decide what to do. Do we stop or do we carry on?" And later saying, "It was important to show people that we could do it without Bruce." Yannick said this after Bruce rejoined Iron Maiden. Yeah, fuck you, you Pac-Led-looking prick.
What brings you so far from home?
We look for things.
What were you looking for?
Things we need.
Can you be more specific?
Things that make us go.
Look, now it's up to Barry McKay to convince a judge and or jury of what we've already established about Steve Harris, that he is someone who can and has stolen other people's music to use for his own benefit, and judging by his net worth, it's benefited him greatly. As I've said in my previous video, I still love Iron Maiden to death. Iron Maiden is and always will be my favorite heavy metal band of all time. Look at my fucking shirt, for God's sakes. Hell, I even got to meet Nico McBrain last year, and it will always be one of my most cherished memories, but just because Maiden are my favorite metal band doesn't mean they can get away with plagiarism, and shameless plagiarism at that, especially since they have established that they can indeed write some kick-ass tunes that are original. The band is comprised of a dream team of talented musicians. And a trained ballerina circus monkey with a cocaine addiction named Yannick. Excuse me, had to hack up a hack there. Excuse me. Bruce can write one hell of an epic. Look no further than fucking Power Slave, or Empire of the Clouds at that matter. Dave Murray, the man is literally incapable of writing bad songs. Adrian Smith, the dude wrote the eternal anthem that is Wasted Years, and the hidden gem of an epic that is Passchendaele. He's yet another guitar god and highly underrated. Steve Harris, like, we've established he's written some great shit. And he's written some other shit that not even Pantera will wipe their punt-stenched asses with. And Yannick, I actually have to say, despite my undying hatred of the failed ballerina on cocaine who thinks going bippity boppity boopity boppity boopity as fast as humanly possible constitutes as a cohesive guitar solo, Yannick Gers? Like, I can't believe I'm actually going to say something nice about this dude, but he's actually a very talented songwriter. I know, shocking, I said something nice about him, but actually, Yannick has written some of my favorite Iron Maiden songs on Fear the Dark, The X Factor, Virtual 11, Brave New World, and even Dance of Death and A Matter of Life and Death. However, recently, he's been writing some utter shit, like the title track on the Book of Yawns and anything he's written on The Final Frontier. And then there's Nico. Yes, sorry, we don't mention the one song Nico wrote, but the guy is a decent drummer. Just not as good as Clive Burr. But the point is, Maiden, you don't need to be stealing other people's shit to write good music. Alright, so I'll end this on a more comedic note. And, so yeah, Barry, when all else fails, you could always take the Democrat strategy and pin a sexual assault allegation on them. Even if you have lack of evidence, it seems to be quite effective nowadays. I'm Baphömet. Cheers, metal maniacs.
Waiting for justice, waiting for justice of the peace. Waiting for justice, waiting for justice of the peace.